sorry if, like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna apologize for that. Basically, I always am whispering because I don't want other people to hear what I'm saying, you know? Like, what I'm saying is, like, for my personal, like, I don't want to be aware that other people know what I'm saying, if that makes any sense. Anyway. So I wanted to talk a little bit about I have a few topics. I'm just reading something I wrote before. So the question of, so I was doing a little bit of like pre-research for like a speech and debate thing. Like, I'm not in speech and debate, but I had to do like research to help like some students for it. I didn't end up actually doing it. I forgot why, but I did do a little bit of research just in case I ended up getting involved. Essentially, the question is, should people have the right to secede from the government in a democracy? Like, is the right of secession like inherently included within a democratic system? That's a question for you. I didn't do enough research on it to have like a proper viewpoint, I think. But yeah, that's a question for you. Anyway, there's some other notes and other stuff as well, but let me just put down what I was gonna talk about. In no particular order, I wanted to talk about shame in relation to success. Secondly, I wanted to talk about this idea I had for a research project. Next, I wanted to talk about like replacing, like filling up your time with meaningful things. Slash hobbies. Another thing, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but status in friendships. What else? I think that's it. Okay. So, also maybe things related to body. I'm gonna quickly look up the definition of dysphoria. Maybe it's too... Okay, dysphoria is defined as a state of feeling uneasy, unhappy, or unwell, which is extremely vague. And because it's considered like a medical term, I'm not going to use it. Yeah. Okay. Instead, I will use body, like feeling uncomfortable about your body, which may sound very similar to dysphoria, but it's more general and casual talking about it. Because obviously I'm not a scientist or a doctor or someone who has been diagnosed with experiencing not body dysphoria in any form whatsoever. So, and this is more about my observation of somebody else that I saw recently. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. Which one do I want to talk about first? Okay, first I'll talk about my idea for research. I might bring this up at a later date. Basically, I have this idea. I have this list of a lot of ideas. It's in my notes. It's just called ideas. And one of my ideas, I had a scientific study on the incentive of money, how it impacts the quality of work, or the impact of monetary incentivization on empathy. Now, I haven't looked up any related scientific studies, but I'm thinking this could be an interesting research project, which I don't have to do any research projects. This is completely optional. It's not related to school, it's just for my personal enjoyment. And yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to do for like a personal study. And for a lot of scientific studies, like if let's say there's like A or B, you have a hypothesis, it results in the hypothesis being proven true or being proven false. So, for example, let's say incentive of money increases the quality of work or increases the empathy you have for someone else, then that's sort of like interesting in its own way, so I guess that's fine. Now let's say money decreases the quality of work. If you have incentive for money, it decreases your work quality and it decreases your empathy for someone else if you have money incentivization. Then that would be even better, because that would be my hypothesis. So both of those result in there being an impact. Money incentives have an impact. Financial incentives have impact on quality of work and empathy. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, it does have an impact. But let's say there's no impact whatsoever. It's not a significant data point. There's no significant data points. Like overall, would you say the curve flattens out, or nothing happens pretty much? Then that's bad, because essentially I haven't learned anything. Like money doesn't do anything, so now we can't use any of these like, what is the use of the study? So I was thinking about that, on how to make, if that happens, because it's quite likely that that could happen, how would I make it interesting in a presentation? And so I thought, if I know it's unprofessional, but because I'm doing this myself, I can include some of my personal thoughts on the outcome. Essentially saying, I've examined my preconceived notions and biases in lieu of these findings, and I've used these findings to analyze my own biases, and these are the conclusions I've come to about myself. Maybe, no idea. See, this is why I do these videos. If I find no impact, then I can use results of a survey done before or during study that ask for public opinion on expected, so I can use the public opinion survey on the expected results and compare them to the actual findings. Now that's interesting. Okay, cool. Now I just have to design the study and how it would work, like how I would test it. And yeah, that's cool. No one steal my idea. Yeah, also I should look up if it has been done before. And even if it has been done before, it would be good to replicate like the study or do my own study related to it. So to cross-examine results. Anyways. Okay. So let me cross that out. Okay. Filling up your time with meaningful activities. So I am a very not distractible. Yes. I am, as many of us are, I am very prone and addicted to social media, especially YouTube. Like instant gratification, go on YouTube, instant gratification. So I realized that if I spend my time doing more meaningful activities, like I can do those activities really well. Like I can focus more. But I have to be actually doing them. If I just am doing nothing, I'll immediately revert to YouTube. So, which is why I think it's hard for me to, because my phone, I think I've done well with my phone, because it already is really bad and it has low battery all the time, it's usually always on airplane mode, and so whenever I'm outside, I don't really use it for anything. But when I'm at home, I always get on my computer immediately. So that's why it's kind of like hard for me to read when I'm at home, or like draw when I'm at home, because like the laptop is there. Also, it's hard for me to draw in general because my references are on the laptop, so I immediately get distracted like 3 seconds after I finish like a sketch or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to do those because it's like in the same space as like the laptop space. So yeah. Anyway, so for example, like today I went to, like, my sister had to do some community service, and there had to be an adult there, so I came with her. And basically we just did community service for 1.5 hours. It was like, it went by super fast for me, like, because it was like constant work, and like it just sped by, and I was like locked in, zoned in, you know, doing the work, doing it well, like, and then it was done, you know. That's like cool. That's like really, really cool. But you have to like put yourself in those situations in order to get that nice result, you know. Basically get out of the situations which encourage you to like stay on your laptop all day long. And one thing that has helped me a lot with that is climbing, because climbing takes off like 3, 4, 5 hours of my day, because I'm like at the gym for like, I don't know, usually like minimum 3 hours and maximum like 5 hours. So that's like a big chunk of the day done. And then another thing is recently I picked up the cello again. So the cello will probably take off like an hour, hour and a half of like just practice time, if I can like focus and get down to doing it. And another thing that's helped me is reading the book that I mentioned, that's in the previous video, The Greatest Salesman in the World, because you have to read it when you wake up, after lunch, and before bed. So like those times which I normally use with like watching YouTube and like immediately getting on Twitter in the morning, like that's been replaced by like reading the chapter of this book. So that's like really good. Obviously I'm not perfect. Like sometimes I'll like read the book and then open Twitter, or read the book, then watch some YouTube, then go to bed. Or, you know, it's just like, or like watch YouTube, then read the book, then go to bed, you know. It hasn't perfected my habits, but there's definitely improvement, and that is important. So basically what I have to do is find more activities that encourage me to like get engaged. And so one of those would be school, which is coming up soon, and also my first like job. Not first job as in like the first job I've ever had, but like first job as in like the first job that I want to have this year, because I want to get a second job. So those coming up will be good. Okay. So if any of you out there are like struggling with like doing nothing, I suppose saying go out and do something is kind of like not, you know, it's kind of like whatever, but I don't know, like I don't know I wanted to do bouldering until I don't even know how I got into bouldering. I remember I did it one time like 2 years ago with one of my friends. It was the first time I did it, and then suddenly like, I don't know, so many things happen when you get on your bike and you go outside and you ride around, because you actually have time to look around and see random shit, and then be like, wow, I would like to, you know, do that. I think that I was biking and I saw the bouldering gym while I was on my bike ride, and eventually it was just like, well, might as well like try that. I'd done it one time, and it was so fun, you know. And that's a thing I really enjoy about bike riding. I'm just waiting for the weather to get better so I can go out again. But biking like slows you down, because you're looking for cars, you know, you're looking down at the ground, you're looking at the apartments as you pass or whatever, and then you look at like all the stores or whatever, or the gyms, you know, the things that you could do, and you really like slow down and actually pay attention to what's around you, and you find like new things to do, which is something I really miss about biking, because like it's really not good to go outside right now and like the afternoon or even in like the late morning. So yeah, anyway, I really hope I can get back to biking soon. Cross that off. Anyway, just go out and do stuff. I really recommend biking. It's faster than walking, and it still slows you down enough so you can like see stuff. Unless you live in like a really crowded area, which then, yeah, just walk and take your time. I guess I'll leave the two more serious ones for last. So I'll talk about like, so basically I went to the climbing gym, and there's this guy who was there with like some of his friends, and he was obviously like, he was like big. He was like a big guy, you know. He obviously went to the gym, and like, because you know his chest was like super big, and it's like, you know, when like some people go to the gym, you know, it's like the top half of their body, well not the top, but like their entire body just expands. So like literally this man's shoulders were like that, like the size of my face, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And he was also like a shorter guy as well. He was like around my height, and I'm pretty short. Like I'm like 5'5". So this guy was like around my height. And like he was just like a good looking guy, you know. He's got the nice hair. He was just like built, you know. He's got the black tank top on and the black I forgot what pants he was wearing. I think it was like black sweats. You know, he was just like showing off his body, you know. And so I was climbing basically, and this guy was like behind me. Like, also I don't really like talk. I've been getting better, but like I also like am a little bit weirded out when people like try and talk to me. So basically I was climbing, and this guy was like, yo, like look at this guy, he's like so serious, like this guy's such a climber or something like that, because he's like, look at this guy, he's just wearing like a blank gray t-shirt and like baggy t-shirt and like really short shorts, because that's mainly what I wear. I just wear like a t-shirt. I have 5 t-shirts. I just cycle the same 5 t-shirts, and I just wear short shorts pretty much, like running shorts. He's like, yeah, this guy's definitely like this guy knows how to climb. This guy's like a climber. And like I was just like so confused. Like I didn't understand if he was like mocking me or like complimenting me, or I don't know. So anyway, I said like, I was like, after I got off the wall, I was like I didn't say anything, and then the guy just kept like talking. He was like look at this guy, bro. Like he's look at his back. He's like big. And I was like, bro, no, because I looked at this guy, and this guy was big. I was like, no, dude, like you're big, you know. Look at you, like look at your shoulders. And he was like, no, like I can see your back under your t-shirt. And like, I don't know, like it's kind of hard to explain, but like the guy was like weirdly defensive about, like he didn't acknowledge anything I said about him, basically. So like he said that, and there was like, no, dude, like, you know, look at you, you're like massive. Look, look your arms, look your shoulders, bro. Like you're big. And he was like, no, that's just because I lift. And I was like, well, that's like the trade-off, I climb and you lift. We get what we, work towards. And then he just like, I don't know, it's like he just wouldn't talk about like the things that he did to get his body, And like as a climber, I never like really think about like aesthetics of the body pretty much, because climbing doesn't really get you like muscles, like obvious muscles. You're not like building anything specifically, all you're doing is climbing, and your body just gets better at climbing, I don't think people get into climbing to like get aesthetics, you always have to like lift in order to get the aesthetics of the body. So for someone who's clearly like a lifter to like look at me who is just climbing and like call me out, or like I don't know what it was, I think I'll take it as a complimenting me. And yet when I felt like he was discounting his own, like he seemed to be like, I don't know, the whole interaction just made me very confused. The guy was like very nice, and we had a little bit of a nice conversation after as well, like just about general stuff. But I feel like the guy, I don't know, like was like didn't want to get any compliments about his body whatsoever, even though he clearly has put like a lot of work into it, which I don't know, is kind of interesting to me. And I kind of experienced the same thing of like being a little bit uncomfortable with compliments, but usually it's uncomfortable about compliments like you don't deserve, like obviously if you work hard at something then you get a compliment about it, I'll be like a little bit flustered, of course, but like I'll be like, oh, thank you, but the guy was just like, he seemed like he's like weirded out that I like talked to him about his body or whatever. It was just weird. I wouldn't call it like dysmorphia or being uncomfortable in the body or anything like that. It was just a strange interaction, a very strange interaction that stuck in my head. And yeah, the guy was just very nice, very nice. He was also like, he'd said he worked 3 years on his body, and like he'd been lifting for 11 years, but he took like a break, and then this is 3 years of progress. Honestly, the guy looked very good. But yeah, maybe I'm misremembering some things, but yeah, that was just the interaction. I don't really have like any commentary on it, but yeah, so I'll cross that off. That was probably the most disjointed segment I've ever done or talked about, but it was just interesting. I wonder if there are like any more interactions that other people have had that are like similar, or like can give me like further context on like what was actually going on. Anyway, okay, another thing that I probably have talked about before, but I'm gonna talk about again just because it keeps sticking in my head, which is like friendship status. I was thinking about this yesterday as well. Like, I think this is a critique of myself as well, but sort of being like always wanting more friends, not like more friends, but like better friends, and not better as in like better behaving or like about like a status thing. And I think like this might be just me, but I think this is a common experience. Pretty much you will have like your friends, right? But there's always like someone who you wish you could be friends with, pretty much. And for me, like, I really try not to like devalue anybody. I think what I'm trying to talk about is not like, let's say, it's not like I want richer friends or what would be another attribute? Like friends that are like better climbers or like what else? Friends who are like better looking. It's like not, that's like not what I'm saying when I say I want better friends. It's not even like, maybe it is a little bit, but maybe what I'm trying to talk about or what my brain is telling me is like friends who are like closer friends. But I feel like that's a very reasonable thing to want, and that's not what I think I'm talking about here. It's more as if like the word that keeps coming to my mind is like the aesthetic of friendship. And I know aesthetic is like a very dirty word right now, but for me it's like let's say you see, this is why I stay off Instagram, by the way. Let's say you see an Instagram post and it's like a bunch of friends hanging out and like a bunch of photos. Like you can probably imagine in your head what those photos might look like, you know? Like just chilling, hanging out. Everyone looks very relaxed. But not relaxed as in like not excited or like happy, but like just very comfortable to be around each other and just like having fun, pretty much. It's almost like that. Like the aesthetic of the Instagram friend group, which is obviously not healthy or not good to think about, which is why I don't go on Instagram at all anymore. But I don't know. So for some of my friends, for a lot of my friends, we live very far apart. And because I don't like doing VC or call or text, you know, I don't really do those things a lot. Like, we don't really have any opportunity to talk to each other. And because I don't play games, I can't play games with my friends who play games. And friends who are actually like near where I live, I don't really like hit them up that much. That's not to say that I don't like them or that I'm not their friends. It's just always like I feel like what are we like I always have to think of an activity to do together. Or like let's go out to lunch. It's never really like, oh, I'm gonna come over and we can just hang out, or like it's almost like making plans for like an event, you know, to put on a calendar. Like, oh, let's see a movie, or you know, then we schedule the movie, or let's get lunch. I schedule the lunch, or let's like meet at this event. Then we have to like, I put on my calendar and we meet at the event. Whereas, you know, like it seems like people are just like I've seen this with my other friends as well, like people just text each other and they go to each other's houses and just like they don't even have to talk. Some people just like lie down, or like I don't know, like they do whatever. They just hang out. It's not like an event thing, you know. What I'm trying to say is like all of my interactions with my friends usually seem like meetups. It's like every interaction seems like, oh, we haven't seen each other in a while. Oh, well, let's meet and catch up again. You know, it's not like a consistent like we are both in each other's lives. You know, like moving along together. It's usually like, you know, it's not like lines moving in conjunction. It's more like a helix shape. And I don't know. Maybe people don't really do this. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like projecting or something, or I'm making stuff up, or my mind is like in a weird fugue state. But that's just like, I don't know. I think that's what I desire. Is like, but maybe it's not even realistic. I don't know. Like maybe that's what just friendships are in general, you know. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's like a consequence of being out of school, because I think like school, you see someone every day, so you're almost like you're in a friendship together. But because I'm out of school and I'm not going to school with any of my friends, it's like, yeah, it's that constant. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are talking about like friend group. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Anyway, I've got plenty of time to figure it out. Like, I don't know. Speaking of time, let me cross that off the list. And, yeah, this is something good to talk about. Which is about like not feeling successful at the age you're at. I'm still very young. Like I'm pretty much still a kid. Not really, but like, yeah. Like age-wise, not really far from still being a kid. And, you know, when I was 16, 17, I didn't really feel like I felt like I was growing up, but I didn't feel like any maturity whatsoever. I still feel, maybe this isn't me talking about my past self, but I still feel at the time like I felt like I didn't really grasp what being an adult meant or what was going on. Like I didn't really even have control over my own life. And I didn't know what to do. And only thing for me that has changed in literally the past month, maybe even in the past 2 or 3 weeks of my life, like realizing that even though I have still so much to do, I at least know that I can do things, you know? Like before I used to complain a lot. I used to complain about, you know, the school I went to, you know, my upbringing. I used to complain about my parents to my parents, complain about, you know, a lot of things. And now I actually realize that I'm really thankful for a lot of the things that I have. And obviously nature and nurture both play a pretty significant part in your development. But I realized that I kind of needed to stop complaining about like my nurture, you know, like how I was raised, my environment, because I realized that they were all pretty good. There's like not that much to complain about. And that I really, now I like look back and I really do appreciate my parents. And I realized that I wasn't set up for success. And what I mean by success is like my parents talked to me a lot, not a lot, but my parents have talked to me about this where they send me to a school specifically, like they could have sent me to an very academically focused school, but they didn't. They sent me to a school which, I mean, the whole premise of the school is about building character in the students. And, you know, while I was there, I really, you know, struggled with values and my personal values and how they clashed with the values of other people around me. And, you know, now over time, I realized that, you know, wow, I really do have like strong beliefs and values, and I also know how to criticize my own values and the values of other people, you know, like analyze and learn, and also have like good moral character, pretty much. And although my parents and a lot of people around me, like pretty much everybody around me, expected me to go to a really good college and basically like have a traditional success path, I realized that, you know, there was that reason why my parents didn't send me to the very academically focused school, you know? like at the school that I went to, I didn't learn how to push myself. But, you know, for me, that's been a very slow journey. But they did teach me how to, like, care about other people and to really care about your intentions and your thoughts and your actions, you know? To care about everything you do and to care about how you affect the world around you, which I think is very important. And now, after sitting on, you know, my situation for a couple months now and realizing that I may not be on the traditional road to traditional success, I still have, what I feel is a really good foundation on how to build up like my morals and values for the future and how to build my life around those morals and values. I was looking through my old photos because I was sad, and I keep remembering. Let me see if they're on here. Basically, I went on a summer camp, and at the end of this camp, they give you an evaluation. And I don't know if I was like the most standout person on that camp. You know, the group is very small, and you know, I don't think I was very much of a leader. I don't think I'm very much of a leader in general. I don't really like being like at the front of a line or at the head of a crowd. I really prefer to like walk behind other people and follow them around. For example, like when me and my sisters were on vacation, because it was just us, the three of us, and like we had to like go somewhere, I would always like let my sisters walk in front of me so I could just walk behind them pretty much. Like I don't like leading. I don't like seeing what's in front of me without someone in front of me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like I like having like the company, like I can see that I'm walking with someone. I don't know. Like I do this with my friends as well. Anyway. Like let's see where I was excellent or good at specific things. So there's like 4 different leadership roles: self-leadership, peer leadership, designated leadership, and like basically the last one is like following other people, pretty much. Being like a good member of a group. One of the good underlings, you know, I feel like I would be a good goon. Not goon is in the modern sense, but goon is in the Batman sense. You know, I feel like I'd be a good goon. And yes, I did use goon on purpose. I think it's just a funny word. Anyway, like in general, I was fine at like when I was designated to be the leader. So on certain days, you know, you have to lead the group basically, because it's a camp outdoors. You know, you have to lead them on the hike for the day. And my instructors, they rated me as, yeah, you're good, you're fine. You're reliable and you meet the expectation. With your peers, you know, leading your peers, you know, you're fine. But your self-leadership, maybe I've like forgotten over the years, but you know, within myself, like I feel like I think a lot about my own intentions and my actions. I really think about what I should do. Do I always accomplish those things? Nah. But I definitely put a lot of thought into like how I should live my life. And so I think, yeah, they marked me excellent on that. And they also marked me excellent on active follower, being an active follower. Like being a good group member, a good member of the community, being able to like follow directions pretty much, and like contribute to like the success of the leader and the group. And I think that makes sense for me because I'm not a leader. I am a pretty good follower, but I'm not a good leader. And to be honest, I don't really want to be a good leader. I don't know. I know it's like a very valuable skill to have, but for me, I prefer following. And maybe that's just an area which I need to improve. And maybe this has to do with confidence as well. I remembered I wanted to talk about confidence. I'll do that later. They also said, you know, I behave with an awareness of my influence on others. So this is like in self-awareness. You know? And I accepted feedback and worked to apply it. And those are both excellence. And then goods are explain my feelings, thoughts, intents, and needs, understood my strengths and areas for growth. So, I don't know what understand my strengths and areas for growth and the difference between accepting feedback and working to apply it. I don't know. But I think this goes again into like being more like, it's more about like others, I think. Like behaving with your awareness of your influence on others. It's about others. And feedback and working to apply it is also like feedback from others. So like generally being like very cognizant of what other people think about you and like trying to like sort of become a better version of yourself for other people, and understanding my strengths and areas for growth and explaining my feelings, thoughts, intents, and needs. It's all about like me. And that's also like something that I struggle with is like, you know, you have to be selfish sometimes, which is like kind of hard for me to say, but like I always struggle with the idea of selfishness and self-centeredness, and like I don't know, I always feel like it's always better to be a servant, because then you know, like, at least even if your mind isn't in the right place, at least your actions are. And I work a lot on like, I don't know, service. That's why I do a lot of service anyway. I don't know. Definitely I need to work on that over like a long period of time. And maybe I need to like focus more on it now. But yeah. Let me get a charger real quick. In terms of judgment and decision making, I was like good. Like not excellent, just good. Tolerance for adversity and uncertainty. I was excellent at staying calm, focused, and positive during hardship and discomfort, and influenced the group positively in terms of hardship and discomfort. I don't know why they checked me as better in those, in terms of managing conflict appropriately, seeking support and making amends, or seeking out inclusive solutions. I don't know. But I think there definitely were times which I was like a little more like harsh towards other group members, I think. And maybe that's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit argumentative sometimes. Yeah, I didn't really like effectively plan and lead travel and course activities. That was just good. Or work towards and attain personal goals. I didn't really have any personal goals for the trip. I just wanted to, well, I think I did a little bit, which was about coming out of my shell and forcing myself to like engage with other people, and like I forced myself to introduce myself to everyone who arrived, even though it was very uncomfortable for me. Demonstrated initiative and completed tasks. I don't know. They put me as better for that one, but I don't know why. Let me just like quickly read in my head this. To continue growing as a leader, I can use my awareness to challenge groups to move more productively and avoid distractions and to create more positive dynamics. Okay? Basically, I have to like actually like engage it as a leader in a leadership role. Like to use my knowledge of what's going on to like actually impact what's going on, I guess. Is what I'm getting from it. And that I think applies to myself as well, like knowing what the right thing to do is versus actually doing it. In this case, knowing what should be done and actually telling people to do that stuff. But yeah, telling people to do things is hard. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Oh. Okay, so basically, here, I tried to solve a problem that was happening within the group only through my own actions. and I didn't incorporate the group's actions into that. And maybe I think I see a problem that I see. I'll use an analogy for this. I think this is kind of more personal. Let's say I see that there is sorry, my back hurts from sitting like this. Let's say I see that there's a leak in this dam. I don't know why I thought of that analogy, but let's say there's a leak in a dam, and I'm in a group of people. Let's say I realize that the leak in the dam is happening, but I don't want to tell anyone because I feel like it'll make them panic or it'll make them uncomfortable. This is not a literal analogy, but it's like an analogy. It's not literally what's happening, It's more like I felt like bringing attention to this would make the people in the group uncomfortable. So instead, I went to the dam and started patching it up myself. But because I'm only one person, and also because I don't know how dams work, I may not have done the best job. I definitely tried, but I may not have done the best job to actually fix the problem. I think this is what my instructors were trying to tell me here. And I feel like they should have just told me straight up instead of maybe lessening the blow of saying you didn't do enough. But also maybe they didn't know whether it was right to do. Anyway, the point is it's not enough to do things on your own. You're in a group. The problem should be solved in a group. Yeah. It's not just about your empathy. It's about using your empathy and bringing others into the picture as well. Because you cannot do everything by yourself. I think this is the first time I've gotten this from reading this, so I think this is very important. Okay. Basically, I'll read the last sentence they wrote for my evaluation and how it stuck with me for a long time. Continue to rely on your values, and you will find success and community wherever you want to be. And for me, I think that has come true to some extent. I have relied on my values when I've gone out into the world and in various communities. Yes, I would say I've found success. But I also think in ways that I think my instructors, which, yes, they definitely knew a lot more than I did. And looking back, I think I'm starting to see that as well. I thought I was self-aware, but apparently not at the time. Not enough. maybe I still am not. Maybe I'm still missing something. I think I realized like what my values are, but I don't really know the best course of action in order to make those values happen. I'm starting to see this pattern appear in front of my eyes. Okay, I'm just gonna be straight up and open here. I basically, during this camp, there was someone who was not well liked by other people. And because I realized that, I brought it up to the instructors. And I didn't want to affect my social standing within the group to befriend this person. And you know, over the course of the camp, I definitely did try a lot. No, I definitely did try to befriend this person, and I really liked them a lot. I was actually considering hitting them up if I did like a trip across the country, but I didn't end up doing the trip. Also, I need to find their number. So, yeah. Essentially, I didn't solve the problem. And I feel like this person could have definitely had a better experience in the camp if they had the support of the group. And I think it's hard to get a group, people who don't like somebody, to like someone. But I think I should have done more. Yes, I should have done more to include this person in the group and engage with the group as well in trying to connect with this person. But I also should have done less, in the sense that I should have focused less on what I myself am doing, and it should have not felt like, oh, I'm doing the right thing here, and more as though like this person is not having the best experience, and they're not going to get the best experience just through me, you know, trying to be their friend or spend time with them. They should have had other members of the group do that as well, you know. And that's a problem with me, and that's a problem with me for sure. Yeah. I hope you guys see what the problem that I'm talking about is. It's a very like self-centered way of looking about solving problems. And I did the same exact thing 2 years later. There's another camp. There's a person who I feel wasn't included so much. And because I had another group of friends, I should have included them more within that group of friends. I feel like I really didn't treat them that well. At the end, I sort of stopped spending as much time with them because I had stumbled upon this wonderful friend group that I was like, just wanted to be with all the time. And even though I really liked this other person as well, like, because they didn't mesh, and because maybe this other friend group was like more more fun to be around, or like, I don't know, had more social capital. Not to say that those things were what drew me to this friend group, was that I felt more like connected with them, I guess. And I really felt like these were like lifelong friends, that I neglected this person that I've been trying to build a friendship with. And I shouldn't have done that. And it's not about making yourself, you know, the linchpin, so to speak, in terms of being a support, you know, a column of support to help somebody. You shouldn't be the only column. There should be other people. And you shouldn't take it all on yourself, because ultimately, I think I realized that I'm not as reliable as I think I am. Often not as generous or as kind as I think I am. And you know, everyone needs other people. It's not just about you. So yeah. I hope I remember this, and I hope I apply it to myself more. This is not what I planned to talk about. But, you know, everything happens as it happens. And I think I really understand something new about myself today, right now. I think it's something that I've been trying to articulate for a while. I remember writing a journal entry about it a couple months ago, but I didn't really get this full extent of this thought across. Let me put a quick note. this relates to, there's a recent Dr. K video about this. It's about compassion without empathy. You know, you can be kind to someone or help someone without being overly invested or taking their burden upon yourself. And it's not just that, it's also, you can actually help somebody without not doing anything at all about their problem. I think I've been dissatisfied with what I've done a lot in at least the past year in regards to service. Maybe it's exactly this. Compassion without empathy. Being too empathetic and not compassionate enough. This is something that I need to learn. Yeah. Anyway. I think this should illustrate how I still have a lot to learn. There's still a lot to experience. And yeah. It's important to reflect on yourself, but it's also important to act. So, yeah, I should use what I've learned as soon as possible, preferably immediately, or whenever I get the chance to. Anyway, today I will say I'm very grateful for the book, The Best Salesman in the World. Very grateful for that book. I'm grateful for the guy. I will not say his name, but there's a guy who repaired my cello. They're very thankful for that guy. Grateful for that guy. It's also related to cello, but I won't count this. I'm grateful to the guy who played this piece in the video, Gaspar Casado, Suite for Solo Cello Preludio Fantasia. Don't know if I'm saying that correct, probably not at all. It's a wonderful solo cello piece that I will try and practice. What else am I thankful for? I will say I'm thankful for my sister for bringing me to, not bringing me, but giving me the opportunity to go to service today. I really did enjoy it. Yeah, those are the things I'm grateful for today. I hope tomorrow will be a good day as well. All's better than the day before. And today was Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Okay. for, and one wish. One wish. My wish, even though it's quite rare, I don't think this wish will happen. Well, that makes sense because it's a wish. I really hope that the slim chance, I really hope that someone that I know, maybe not very closely, but someone that I've interacted with, even a little bit, one of my friends, one of the people I met, at least he's one of these videos, because I really would like to be known in the sense that I don't really say much about how I feel or think that is actually at all vulnerable or personal to myself, and yet there are so many things I would like to say, and I often feel that I'm intruding or being too personal or venting or like dumping, just in general not being a good conversationalist or being productive at all or contributing anything or making people uncomfortable. So if someone sees this and has chosen to see what I've said, that I know, it means that it kind of takes the burden off of me of feeling like I'm intruding, because technically you came into my head because I'm just putting it out there, and you chose to look inside, which is fine. Like, it's fine to look inside. It's just, it's easier for me to talk to nothing than to talk to something. And I just really, I don't really want any, not want, but like, I don't care about, I don't care about knowing that you know. I just care about somebody knowing, and someone that also knows me through some sort of interaction, so that there's the interaction and then there's a layer deeper, of the thought behind the interaction, and I don't know, maybe it would be helpful so that people who are, that person who watches, to now know that maybe the people in their lives who don't talk as much, or who aren't as loquacious as other people, really have a lot that on their mind that might be valuable and might not be, but that those people are still worth trying to talk to, at least. I think it's important to understand other people, and I try to understand other people and to understand myself, but very rarely do you get to hear someone talk about how they really feel about anything and get to know them at the same time. That takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and usually it has to be a good relationship. And I've rarely had that. I only think one time. was very meaningful to me to be able to say how I really felt, and for the other person to also say how I think they really felt, but maybe they didn't. Anyway, that's it from me for today.